Financial wellness. Reach out to them for advice at 855-DON-GINO. And now back to your hosts, Don Getling and Gino Fronti.
Well, thank you again for joining us now on the second half of the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show right here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. We are having so much fun today. We started a brand new series for you because we've enjoyed interviewing some of the best professionals now for over 6 years, and we thought, you know what, we need to reach out to even more great professionals that we know that have changed our career and bring them to you, to our listeners, to our subscribers, and hopefully inspire, motivate, and educate you to go to the next level, raise the bar, right?
Well, what we've talked about this year was we want you to be bold and take action. And you can't be bold and take action if you don't feel empowered, if you don't feel like you have the tools and the motivation, and we've discussed the passion and all the tools you need to be able to take risk. Ultimately, that's what it is you have to get to a point where you're okay taking risk, knowing that there's something better on the horizon. And I think that's where we're trying to get you to be bold this year, and hopefully we're doing that with this new series.
All right. So always, you can find out more by going to donandgino.com, DONANDGINO.com. That's our hub. You'll see that we have over 1,600 YouTube videos now, interviews with some of the best. And now we've created a new series, and thankfully we have one of our great friends helping with us today called Interviews with the Giants. It's a success series that will hopefully inspire and motivate you and empower you to go to the next level. And we brought one of our really good friends who has done it over and over and over again, big-time entrepreneur, Mr. Barry Habib, who has started Mortgage Market Guide, CMPS, which is Certified Mortgage Planning Specialist, MBS Highway, producer of Rock of Ages, one of the top Broadway shows and movies. You've done it all, Barry. Does this come easy for you?
Oh, it's exactly the opposite.
I'd love to talk about how you've overcome adversity. I guess that's where I'm to.
I think the common thread between people that have had some modest successes or people that have achieved some things is, first off, optimism. So people who are optimistic, I think, find ways to do things and believe in themselves. So, if there is some tip out there, try to be as optimistic as possible and, realistically optimistic. The other is persistence. It's definitely hard. You have had to overcome tremendous adversities. All of us do. We all have our own share. And for me, I've had perhaps more than a fair share of adversity. As I mentioned to you, listen, I was one of the surprise babies. I made it under the wire before Roe versus Wade, and so I was fighting the odds from the beginning. This was all bonus time for me. My parents were immigrants from Europe and didn't speak the language real well, so I didn't have that going for me. We were extremely poor. Lost my dad at a young age, so didn't have a whole heck of a lot of things handed my way, so to speak. And even as a kid in the stereo industry, I was a kid, I was green, and got screwed over quite a few times. People copy you, people screw you over, but you learn some lessons there. And getting in the mortgage business is tough. It's tough for all of us. I respect people in the mortgage industry so much because I understand how hard it is. And starting a company is hard. Boy, I'll tell you what, I started the company, and then we had the housing bubble from the 80s as soon as I started my company. So we were really in a tough time, in dire straits, but you overcome those things. So had a lot of tough luck, but it does make you a little bit stronger to continue to succeed through that. As I mentioned to you, then starting Mortgage Market Guide, this was a time when the market was doing just amazing, and here I am just getting started. So I was missing out on a lot. So you have to kind of really believe in yourself. But whether it be things like Rock of Ages, which we had little chance that anybody gave us, but we had to overcome all that, to even personal issues that we all have, health issues we all have. Hey, something I don't talk about, I don't like people to feel sorry for me, but dealing with health issues myself. Some people have cancer, and I'm one of those people that do, and I'm working through that. Thank goodness it's in good shape and under control. But we all get dealt some tough cards. We get dealt some good cards. We get dealt some tough cards. So You can't feel too sorry for yourself when you get dealt some tough cards. You have to really try and constantly be optimistic and persistent to achieve your goals. And one of the things that keeps me going now is I love what I do. I feel like I'm blessed with the opportunity to try and help other people because I know what it's like to struggle. So having the ability to help others, whether it be through speaking or some TV appearances or some of the great work you're doing where I can kind of share some ideas with people, I'm very fortunate about that because you see how it can potentially impact people, and that's unbelievably meaningful and rewarding for me.
Well, and for us, and that helps a lot, Barry. And thank you again. If you just tuned in, we're here with Barry Habib, one of the top entrepreneurs around the country, owner of MBS Highway now, producer of Rock of Ages, and so much more. Real quick, I want to talk about your speaking because this interview series is to help a lot of you out there understand that you can overcome obstacles and challenges, and we all have them. Like I said, when you see a top entrepreneur, it's really easy to go, well, that was easy for them. It just became natural. But I watched you at the beginning, and this is not to throw you under the bus. This is actually a compliment, Barry. When you first came on, you were a tech nerd. I mean, you went over numbers and info that went way above our head. And I know Gino and I sat in the audience going, what the heck is he talking about? I have no clue. And it went over everybody's head. It was very tech driven. It wasn't not a lot of entertainment involved, and then you worked at it, and now you're one of the best speakers I see in our industry by far. How did you overcome that?
Well, it's been a while, so I'm trying to get it right still, but we when you start speaking, it's always difficult when you speak professionally. So I've been doing this now a little over 20 years, 23 years as a professional speaker. So those initial ones, boy, I would tell you, I'd get so nervous. I would actually get sick before I spoke. That's how nervous I would get. Mm-hmm. And through time, and through things going wrong and problems happening and just kind of getting accustomed to it and gaining that experience, it's something that you continuously get better at. Fortunately, I've become friends with Tony Robbins, and I remember him telling me that the way he got better was just sheer practice, and he would sometimes give 6 speeches or 8 speeches a day to anybody that would listen, whether it was 1 people, 3 people, or 100 people. Mm-hmm. He felt that the more he refined it, the better that he would be, and he's 100% right. So experience does make you a lot better. The thing when you're a speaker is that you want to try to give people a message that can benefit them. And I think that in trying to help individuals that speaking can really help your career, they understand that, but most people shy away from it. And, what are the reasons why they would shy away from it? You think about why would they not want to take advantage of this opportunity? So I actually surveyed several mortgage professionals and say, why are you hesitant to speak? And here's what I found out is that they say, I don't know if they'll like the message. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to put a good storyline together. And even if it's the PowerPoint slides, I'm not really comfortable necessarily building that. So it's easier just not to do it. So you probably know this within MBS Highway, we have something called Presentation Expressway. We're actually record presentations for people in small bite-sized pieces, 5-minute, 7-minute presentations that I know are well received already. They watch me do it, they kind of memorize it, and I give them the PowerPoint slides so they have a presentation. But that's a great way to get started. I think speaking, whether you're speaking to 3 people, an office full of people, or an auditorium full of people, I think it's very powerful, and it's a skill that isn't really taught. It's not something, there's a college class on speaking. There's not. It's something that you really should do your best to work at because it can be extraordinarily powerful and life-changing for your career. You accelerate far more rapidly in getting your message to a much wider audience. It's one of the reasons why I started doing TV so often, because you get that message much wider. But live speaking is far more powerful.
Oh, great stuff, because you just helped us like, oh, wait a minute. I'm afraid of being a speaker because you're so comfortable with it. You're comfortable with us now. Barry, I'm going to actually have to ask you one more favor.
Anything.
I'd love to get another 5 minutes with you.
You got it.
Because we need your success attributes that you've seen other professionals have, that you've graced. And also, I want to carry on the message that it's okay to mess up. A lot of us think you have to be perfect, and that's We call it paralysis by perfection, something like that.
What is it?
Well, perfect is the enemy of good. So you look. It's not a game of perfect. You need to just be as good as you can possibly be, and that's good enough. And you'll just constantly get better. If you're perfect, you can't get better, right? So.
Well, thank you. We'll be right back, Barry, for the final segment. You're not going to want to miss, because these are the pearls of wisdom that changes our lives. When we come back to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show.